Welcome to Reverent and Rebellious, a safe space for faith-based conversations on the things that nobody seems to want to talk about these days. We are reverent, we value truth, we elevate scripture, but we are also rebellious. We shatter myths and we destroy dogma, so jump in. Join us, Logan, Pat, and me, the brother Peter, as we get reverent and we get rebellious.
How's it going?
It's going great. Just going great.
We survived Easter.
We made it through Ishtar.
You know, I was actually thinking, I know that y'all poke fun at my song, but
In a lighthearted way.
In a lighthearted way, but you gotta admit, and for our listeners that are tuning in, you don't know, maybe we're talking about the Bad to the Bone song, Arise. Arise, my love.
Yes.
And now y'all can laugh, but I think out of all the songs you do, that one gets the most response from the crowd. I mean, you got to admit, that's a crowd. That is a crowd pleaser.
2 years in a row, some nut job yelled from the back. I don't know who it was. No.
As soon as it happens, mid-note, me and Peter just kind of look at each other like, yep, there he is.
I'm telling you, if I didn't do it, y'all'd be wondering, am I disappointed? What's going on?
I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
I just don't know what
I really was fighting the urge to do it just as soon as, because I knew the moment the keys started, I was like, there it is. And I wanted to do it right then, but I was like, I know the song, so it's like, I know there's going to be that one little spot kind of the.
Yeah, then you'd have to outdo yourself.
Yep.
You'd have to be twice as loud.
That's right.
So yeah, I think you did the right thing. But you're right. No other song gets the reaction from the congregation like that one. I mean,
there was people that were like kind of laughing at me about it because they knew it was coming, and then they had their hands up as it's going. And I'm like, you can't deny the power.
You cannot. You cannot. And we just had a great Easter Sunday.
It was really awesome. Yes, it was awesome.
We had a great sunrise service. We had an excellent breakfast, and then we blew it out of the park.
Yep,
I thought
y'all did.
Pretty darn awesome. And then we had food, and then we sunk into a chair, feet up, everything.
Yep.
So yeah, we had a great time. And now I would like to say we get to rest, but we don't. We do not get to rest.
No, ain't no rest for the wicked.
No, we get to continue on. So for those of you who care, I'm a little bit depressed tonight because my baseball team is now 4-8 to start the season. Man. My World Series bound, division winning baseball team.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
4-8.
Well, don't they have like 480 games left to play or something?
Yeah, we got lots to go. But we were supposed to come out of the gate just guns a-blazing, just unstoppable lineup, and man. We came out with that water pistol.
I was going to say, maybe they're blazing. It's just, pew, pew.
It's
that was one of the things that's always been hard for me to like get into baseball. It's because they play like 5,000 games.
I know. Yeah. That's why it's such a great sport. You can watch it every day. Yes. Every day. You cannot imagine the sense of despair I get after the World Series is
when
over.
There's no baseball to watch.
It's like, what am I going to do now?
Football.
I mean, basketball and hockey, they play a lot of games too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just not the same.
No.
It's not. It's not like the greatest game in the world.
It was, I did enjoy, I watched during the World Series. Mm-hmm. That's the first time I had really watched it in a long time.
Same.
That's because I made you.
You pretty much, I mean, you kept talking about it. I was like, I got to see what's going to happen.
What's going on, yeah.
And then I just wanted, I wanted the Canadians to lose. I was like, we can't have Canadians win.
Have to have the Canadians lose. That's exactly right.
And then it got down to, your boys versus, who'd they play now? I don't even remember who.
Well, they played the Canadians, and the Canadians
it was Toronto,
and they went to the World Series.
But who was in the World? It was the Dodgers.
The Dodgers, yeah,
yeah, and then the Dodgers did beat them.
Well, and see, that's the deal, is because if my team, the Seattle Mariners, had made it to the World Series, they would have gotten crushed. I mean, there's no way. There's no way.
You think the Dodgers would have creamed them?
Absolutely, they're going to win again this year. It's just they've spent their roster. If you add in all the deferred money, is well over $1 billion.
Good Lord.
Nice.
So are they See, I remember when I was younger, the Yankees were like the dominant team.
Yeah, because they bought all the players.
Yeah. So the Dodgers are now the Yankees.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
The Yankees don't have any players to buy because the Dodgers bought them all.
They have that like Japanese guy that's like $1 billion or something.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, the pitcher.
Yeah.
Is he a pitcher?
He's a pitcher and a hitter.
Yeah.
He is truly a remarkable athlete. And he chose to go to L.A., and they chose to give him almost $1 billion. It was like
$945 million or something crazy.
Over 15 years.
I'd play baseball for that kind of money.
Here's the funny thing about it is, year before last, I don't remember what they call it. It's like the Bonilla factor. Bobby Bonilla was one of the first mega contracts. Now, you probably don't even know who Bobby Bonilla was.
The name actually sounds familiar to me.
Because that's how long ago he played.
Yeah.
Year before last was the last check of $9 million they wrote to Bobby Bonilla.
Wow.
Who has been retired for 15 years easily.
Wow.
It took them that long to pay him the last check.
Exactly. There's the Reds are just finished paying Ken Griffey Jr.
Whoa.
I bet it's like a sigh of relief whenever those guys finally come off of there.
But, Ken Griffey Jr. has been retired for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe longer than that. So he's been sitting at home collecting these, $3-4 million paychecks for doing nothing.
Doing nothing. Yeah.
See, I'll play that position.
Man, no doubt about it.
That's what, you would have enjoyed I had a landlord I rented ground from. Well, he's passed away now, so I'll share it. He was nice. I'm not bashing the dead. He was a nice guy when I talked to him. But Tim McCarver, you familiar with him?
Oh, yeah.
He was, I rented a farm from him, worked some ground from him. And he, what did he play? Did he play for the Cardinals?
Yeah, he was the catcher.
Oh, my light. I got to figure out why my light turned off up here.
You got it on a timer?
I don't know. I don't know how to work these little lights.
We were going to brag on our new lights.
I know. I'm gonna turn it back on just a second. Okay. But Tim was there. I will tell you, he had a broadcaster's voice because didn't he do?
Oh yeah, he was the broadcaster forever.
Man,
and he was on national TV like ABC or something like that for a long time.
I'd call him or he'd call me like if we had to talk something about the farm, and he'd be like, "Logan, how you doing?" Like it sounded like I was talking to the radio. So hey, well, we want you guys to talk to us.
Yes.
And we want you to do that in a few different ways. First, we want you to hit that like button, hit subscribe, leave us those ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple, and share this with your friends and your family. And also, we want you to leave us some comments.
Leave the comments.
If you leave us comments, you'll get to hear us read those comments.
That's exactly right. And we've invested in you.
We have.
It's time for you to begin to invest in us.
That's right. And then Pat will read your YouTube ones, and I'll read the Spotify ones.
See how that works?
We got 4 this week on YouTube, and they're all from Rhonda.
Yeah, she kind of went off a little bit on this last episode.
She said, my daddy would use option 3 and 4 to get discussion going or to see if I would stick to my guns. It taught me much. But if it could be frustrating, it is being raised by Yoda. Then she says, one of the best ways to teach is to allow for self-realization and self-discovery. We all have kids, and we have experienced that when we tell them the truth, they look at us like we're brain dead fools. Yep.
That's just life, man. That's life.
She says one of my current favorite phrases right now are troglodyte or heathen, but I have to admit, flippin' Philistine has a certain cachet about it.
It does have a ring to it. I do like troglodyte heathen though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then her last one is feeling a little bit jealous and left out because of these off-air jokes that make you laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Logan literally made me cry right before.
You know what you need to do is you need to come out here and run the cameras for us, and then you'll hear all of the jokes.
You will, and that. Rhonda would probably get a kick out of that joke that
Rhonda would
shared.
think they were great.
My light's just being stupid now.
I don't know why.
I don't either.
How did you turn it back on?
Held the little power button down and it came on.
And then it just went off again.
It went off pretty quick that time.
Like it didn't take hardly any time at all.
That just makes me mad. So we got a Spotify comment.
Do it.
From Cho Man.
Oh, Cho Man. Man,
Yes.
I am digging Cho Man lately.
Which one's Cho Man?
He left a comment, she, I don't know, they left a comment like a year ago.
Okay.
And then we didn't hear anything. And then just recently, we've gotten like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think they commented on the last
great.
video.
Yeah.
And so we actually know now who Cho Man is. They
Really?
revealed the identity in this comment.
Awesome.
So he says, I believe this would be a he. My name is actually Carter Homan, and I am from northwestern Ohio. So we got some Ohio listeners. Pretty cool.
Yes.
Said the Maria Stein Shrine was actually a Catholic convent.
Convent. Yeah.
Convent, yes.
Yeah, with nuns.
No, okay, got you. A Catholic convent, and had other purposes before it was made into a museum for the holy relics they have. What those are, I have no idea. It has a chapel, and they still have some masses there, I believe. They actually have the Maria Stein Country Fest on the grounds and have
Isn't
plenty
that
of cold snacks and tractor square dancing. I'm not Catholic, and that is kind of a taboo thing to some around here. So...
Yeah. Well, that's, cold snacks.
Yeah, and he put in like quotations.
Okay. That mean like deviled eggs? Or does that mean like...
Might have a little bit of, might get you a little intoxicated.
Or, yeah, maybe.
Well, it
would.
might be they once were warm, but by the time people get there, they're cold. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate you writing in, Carter. Now we know who you
Yes,
are.
Exactly. C. Homan.
Yep. See, Homan. I was calling you Cho Man.
Cho Man.
It's got a cool ring to it, though.
I like it. Yeah.
The Cho Man.
And you need to let us know if you are a diehard fan of the Ohio State, because we probably will have a little fun at your expense if you are. All in good fun, all good natured. We love you and we appreciate you listening.
Yep.
Spotify listener. Yeah. Look at that from Ohio.
Pretty awesome.
Love it.
I'm listening. I'm about to turn this stupid light on one more time.
Okay, do it. I've got two little jokes today. First one is an actual joke, and the other one is not quite the same. Pat, you'll appreciate this one.
All right.
A hooded robber burst into a bank and forced the tellers to load a sack full of cash. On the way out the door, a brave Texas customer grabbed the hood and pulled it off, revealing the robber's face. The robber shot the customer without a moment's hesitation. Then he looked around the bank and noticed one of the tellers looking straight at him. The robber instantly shot him also. Everyone else, by now, very scared, looked intently down at the floor in silence. The robber yelled, "Well, did anyone else see my face?" Silence. Then one old cowboy raised his hand. While keeping his own head down, he says, "I think my wife got a pretty good look at you."
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yes. And so I came across these day before yesterday, and I always like these. These are actual church announcements.
Okay.
They might be in a bulletin, might be on a church sign. And as you know, Pat, not everybody spells everything all the time correctly.
Sure don't.
And I love these because they're just hilarious. Okay, so here we go. This was in a bulletin. It said, "Open invitation for all who enjoy sinning in the choir."
Sinning in the choir.
Yeah. And then on a Christmas bulletin, song title, "Angles We Have Heard on High."
Yep. I bet that's been done a bunch.
I'm sure it probably has. Here it is. "Join us for a day of fasting and prayer this Saturday at 11 a.m. Lunch will be provided." This is my favorite one so far. Matthew 5:43. You have heard it said. You have heard that it was said, "Love your neighbor and hate your enemy."
Probably
Fair
do.
enough. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I definitely can resonate with that one. Okay, so then there will be a meeting in the sanitary covering the need for a new social media manger.
Oh wow, they just really butchered that one all around.
Exactly. This is my favorite of all of this whole post. It's just a small spelling error, but it's
Makes
just
a
so
big
appropriate.
difference.
Yeah. "Away in a manger, the poop baby waits."
Oh man. Oh wait, poop. See, all right. See, we are typical dudes right here. We're all grown men here.
Laugh at duty.
Laughing at poop and doo-doo.
We will laugh at poop jokes every time.
Yep.
Yes. And here's a good one. Pancake breakfast next Sunday. Girdles needed. So please bring one for the pastor to use if you have one.
Might need a girdle.
And then the last one is choir practice Wednesday at 7. Come prepared to sin.
Nice.
There you go. Yep.
So there you go. There's a little church humor for you today.
Well, our light went back off again, so just mad.
Just
Figure
the light-
these
It's
out.
only the light over you, Logan. So
I know.
Maybe it's Maybe it's something to do with you.
It might be. It's the magnetic force off of me is turning that off.
To get those off of Temu or something like that?
They're supposed to be really good. Nano lighter. I don't know. It's supposed to be good. They keep turning off.
Just a little light of mine.
You're running at 50% right now, so that call it good.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's good enough. It's just going to have to do.
Yeah, let's just do this pass fail, man.
So this week we are continuing our series on really tough things that Jesus said.
Yeah.
And so like last week, he called the woman a dog, right?
Yeah.
That's Jesus just, he's young.
Putting her in her place.
Yeah, exactly. Again, this week is just Jesus being a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah. And it almost kind of sounds like this. Now I'm going to set this scene up like this. And, some of you will recognize the story just by the description, but imagine this. Your father just died. Okay, your father, the man who raised you, who you owe everything to. Now, think about this in ancient times.
Yeah.
Big deal. And, of course, we know the command, honor your father and your mother. Okay,
Yep.
okay. So in the ancient world, what you do next isn't optional. It's sacred. You bury him. You wash his body. You mourn. You honor him. This isn't just sentiment. This is your duty, your identity, your obligation before God. Now, imagine in the middle of your grief, you encounter a rabbi, a teacher, a miracle worker, and he says, "Follow me." And you say, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." And he says, "Let the dead bury their own dead. Come and proclaim the kingdom."
So he's talking about a zombie Undertaker, right?
You just told a grieving son to abandon his dead father's burial.
I have always been a little bit like intrigued by this one.
I know.
Because I've heard it and read it, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like harsh, kind of like, it's almost like, forget it.
Well, and it comes in, and really, honestly, at face value, you're going like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, full of love, compassion, kindness, all this stuff. And he's speaking against, what appears to be a family obligation. So it's like Jesus hates families now.
He starts playing the song, "Get Over It."
I mean, really, when you read through it, so let me read the whole little episode.
Okay.
And honestly, you would think that reading the whole episode would make it softer a little bit, but it doesn't. It actually kind of makes it a little bit more harsh. Okay. So if you kind of look, this is found in Luke 9, and in Luke 8 is the transfiguration.
Okay.
Right. So
yeah.
Okay, and so now Jesus is on his way. He's on his way to the last week of his life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like, okay, everything is urgent. He's not mincing any words. He's going to tell it to you like it is. He's not giving you any time to, kind of come around or whatever.
Yeah.
So we can understand that to some degree. And of course, in the little passage right before it, it says an argument arose among the disciples as to which of them might be the greatest. And so then John comes up and says, "Master, we saw somebody casting out demons in your name. We tried to stop him because he doesn't follow along with us." And Jesus says, "Don't hinder him. He was not against you, is for you." And so, he's just like short one sentence, and it says, "It came about when the days were approaching for his ascension that he resolutely set his face to go to Jerusalem."
Yeah.
Okay. He sent messengers ahead of him. He tried to go through Samaria. The Samaritans weren't having it. And the disciples say, "Oh, should we call down fire?" Jesus is like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he rebuked them. He says, you do not know what kind of spirit you are of. For the Son of Man did not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went on to another village. Okay, so here we go. And as they were going along the road, someone said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus says, "The foxes have holes, the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." So essentially, I mean, you can interpret that as, are you sure? I'm not sure you really know what you're kind of getting into here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then he said to another, "Follow me." So the first guy says, "I want to follow you." But
Yeah.
then he looks at somebody else and says, "You, follow me." And he says, "Permit me first to go and bury my father." And he says to him, "Allow the dead to bury their own dead. But as for you, go and proclaim everywhere the kingdom of God." And then he finishes with another. Another one says, I will follow you, Lord, but first permit me to say goodbye to those at home. Jesus said to him, no one, after putting his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. Now, I mean, how do you process all that?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds pretty harsh.
You gotta the first and the last you can kind of almost go with, because Jesus said things like and we'll get to this one probably next week. If you don't hate your mother and your father, you're not fit to follow me. But he also remember when his mother and his brothers came to get him because they thought he was going crazy. He said, hey, your mother and your brothers are outside. And he goes,
Who are they?
Yeah.
Who are my brother?
Who are my mother and my brother? He said, all of you are my family.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of hint of that, but he's just being really direct.
Yeah.
And so
it's had a bad day.
It kind of feels like it. And so, if you put all these kind of in order, and we've gone through these, in the previous episodes, so you can go back and as we pick through those, but just look at this at face value. He says, gouge out your eye and cut off your hand.
Yeah.
He says, it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. He says, I came to bring a sword, not peace. He says, if you don't have a sword, sell your tunic and buy one. That's exactly right. And then, he goes out into foreigners' territory and says to a foreign woman, it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. Every one of those is sort of jarring.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's like, wow. But this one is even a little bit more edgy because Jesus isn't, like challenging a crowd. He's not talking to a foreigner.
Yeah.
He's singling out one man.
Yeah.
He tells him to follow him, and the man says, I need to go bury my father.
Yeah.
And he says, let the dead bury their
It's
own
like he's dead, man. Forget about it.
I mean, come on. So
chunk him in the ditch and come on.
I know. So let's kind of break this down here. Okay. So this story is also told in Matthew. And in Matthew, it calls him another disciple. So he's already kind of, should we say, a fringe follower, something like that.
Don't even get his name.
And in Matthew,
he definitely doesn't tithe.
No, that's right. Probably doesn't serve on a greeting team or anything.
Right. And he was not the fastest. That's for sure.
He just shows up, gets the free coffee.
Yeah.
But in Matthew, the story is told, he addresses him as Lord, Kyrios. So he has some idea, of Jesus' divine nature, shall we say. And his request sounds completely reasonable. I'm going to follow you. And I suppose you could say, okay, well, he's got to go all the way back. He's got to bury his father, got to do all that stuff, and then he's going to come all the way back. I might be dead by then. So, maybe he's saying it that way.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's a couple of possibilities here. Because, when we read this, we go, my father just died. Let me at least go to the funeral. Because that's kind of the way we hear it, right? But there are two possibilities here. And the first one is kind of the one we sort of anticipate. His father is literally dead. He needs to go home right now for the burial.
Yeah.
Jewish burial law requires burial within 24 hours. And this is not just a family obligation. This is a sacred obligation. Clearly, this, we don't know for sure if this young man was a firstborn. If he was a firstborn, that's even a greater responsibility. Even if he's not a firstborn, it's up to the men in the family to handle this burial process.
See, I never looked at it that way. I've always taken it as when my dad dies, then I will follow you.
We're gonna get to that because that is the other possibility.
Okay.
But let's just take at face value for right now. Let's just kind of think about this.
Dead.
That his dad has died.
Well, I mean, what's he doing down in the middle of
Well,
town?
that's where I was going to go with it next.
He's just chilling. I got 24 hours to do this. I'm just bebopping around town. You know?
Jesus, like, you ain't there right now, man.
That's what
It's like, I'll put you on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my big question about possibility A is how did he hear the news?
Right.
And did he know that if his father was near death, why
I'll be
is
right
he-
back, Pops. Hang in there,
I
pal.
got to follow this rabbi guy. So, and if his father was legit dead, then he wouldn't be standing there for Jesus to single him out of the crowd.
Right.
Yeah.
He would already be on his way back home. So if you look underneath the surface, there's got to be something else going on. Okay. So that's possibility B, that his father is still alive. So let me bury my father could be, let me stay home until my father dies and until I fulfilled my family obligations. Is that
yeah.
the way you think about it, Pat?
See, that's kind of where I was at with it. It's like, once I fulfill these obligations and, get a nice little chunk of change too, for my inheritance, and all that, then, it's kind of like, yeah, Lord, I will follow you as soon as I fill in the blank here.
That's
Have
the
the
deal.
security to do so.
Okay, so so the deal is too. It's like Jesus could have had a follow-up question. Is your dad sick? Is he about to die? How close is he? Is he mostly dead?
That's partially alive.
Yeah.
But he says, let the dead bury their dead. And-
Okay, we're getting, that's a loaded phrase.
right.
So, and we're going to get into that in just a second.
Okay.
Because Jesus chooses words carefully.
Right.
And so, okay, just a little foreshadowing. He didn't say, let the other children bury the dead.
Right.
He didn't say, let your mom bury the dead. Let the elders of the village bury the dead.
Right.
He said,
Let the dead.
yeah. What does that mean? What does that even mean?
So, like,
We're
dead
gonna
in
find
spirit?
No, he's got to be talking about zombies, man.
out. Yeah, that's it. Jesus and zombies. So basically, it could mean months, could be years.
But
So-
let's flip that around. Is not what did Jesus mean by it? What did this guy mean by it? And
Right.
he's basically saying, no matter what the words, is not right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is the kind of the first step in unpacking why Jesus says things the way that he says it right now is you have to understand the man's situation and the man's motive before we can get to why Jesus responded to him that way. So keep in the background that Jesus has set his face to go to Jerusalem. Once he gets there, the whole Holy Week thing,
Yeah.
we got the grand procession all the way to cleansing the temple, all the way to, the garden, the cross, everything. So
Yep.
Jesus knows this all in his head.
Yep.
And so knowing what you know about Holy Week and all the stuff that goes along with it, hang on one second. I got to take a big swig.
Well, you had said something 2 sermons ago too.
My red dot's gone out.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, Peter's got the cool cup here. It's got the EOTech red dot.
The coffee goes in and the red dot comes on.
You had said something 2 sermons ago though. It's rather you accept God, you take Jesus for everything or not at all.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, what Jesus is getting at right here. That's the whole thing with the triumphal entry, shall we say, that wasn't very triumphal, is Jesus is saying, I am the king. So crown me or kill me.
And this is Luke what?
Luke 9.
And this is
59,
right around sending the
57.
70 out, right?
Right before that, yeah. He sends the 70 out like right after this incident in Luke 10. And so honestly, you got to imagine he's calling people to him and allowing people to follow him because he's going to send out troops. You know? He's going to send them out. And it's like, and this is why, he finishes that with another said, oh, I'll follow you, Lord. Yeah, send me out. But I got to go, it's like, no, I need people that I can send out right now.
Yeah.
He says nobody who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is ever going to plow a straight row. You know that.
Well, that's what I did that today. I was running the tiller out here, and I have to look back constantly just to make sure. I'm constantly looking back, making sure everything's running right. Man, I turned back around. Freaking road's so crooked. It looks terrible.
Exactly right. I know. I think that's what Jesus was getting at.
Yes.
And see, in this, now we can flip this, and Jesus is just really cool in this moment. He's like, nah, brother, tear that rear view mirror off. You ain't looking back.
That's it.
You move
That's
forward,
it.
brother.
Well, and I mean, essentially, that's what he's saying.
That's right.
The past is history.
So, so Jesus' response is liable to be a little sharper than usual.
Yeah.
He's not going to say, okay, brother, go in peace, all this stuff. No, it's like, well,
He's like, you pansy.
what have you been standing around here for then?
Yeah.
If this is the most important thing in your
why
life.
you dilly-dallying?
Right. He's not just asking for an afternoon.
Right. Yeah.
He's asking for an indefinite delay. It's like, whenever my father dies, then there you go. And so my little research helper says both readings are possible. And interestingly enough, Jesus' response either way is going to be about the same, because even if he's going to go take care of an impending funeral, or if he's going to go home and sit around until his father dies, it's talking about the kingdom. It's like, and I think he's kind of being a little bit pragmatic, a little practical, because it's like, if somebody said to you, man, I'd like to help you, I don't know, spray today. But I need to take a couple of days, and you're going, like, the spraying's got to be done today.
Yeah.
It's like there is no other day to do it.
Yeah.
I can't, if I wait until you get back.
We missed the window.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think this is what Jesus is getting at. There's a small window here.
Yeah.
And this is it. And so if you're not qualified, you're not qualified.
Especially where Jesus is heading.
That's it. Yeah.
Because this is the coming into Holy Week. Jesus is basically telling this guy, like, no, like, this is the only time in the history of the world you get a personal human experience with me.
Yeah.
Well, and also get to participate in what will usher in the kingdom,
right?
Once and for all. Okay, so let's get into sort of the cultural phenomenon of burial.
Okay.
So why is this important to this guy? So in Jewish world, ancient Jewish world, burying the dead was something called a mitzvah. It was a commandment. A commandment is a mitzvah, which is why the 10 Commandments aren't commandments, because it doesn't use the word mitzvah. They are the 10 words.
Yep.
10 words.
The 10 words.
Yep.
Yes. But this is a commandment, a sacred commandment. It was considered an act of chesed shel emet, true loving kindness, because the dead cannot repay you. So it's something you do for your dead loved one that they can never repay. So this is considered high and holy kind of thing. Failure to bury your father would bring shame on you and your family. It would violate the 5th commandment: honor your father and your mother, in the grossest way, honestly. Even pagan Romans considered neglecting burial an act of grave impiety. In fact, in Jewish world, even the high priest, forbidden from corpse contact. If there was nobody to bury him, they would go do it themselves and become unclean and go through the rituals and do the whole thing. Somebody had to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a foreshadowing to let the dead bury the dead.
That's it.
Okay. So, yes. And then it's, if you read this at face value, it's not a small request.
Right.
I mean, it's like a big deal. So we get to Jesus' response: let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God. And so you can take this a couple of different ways. Is Jesus just being paradoxical? Is he going like, we're doing something that alive people do? Why do you want to go and do something that dead people do?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? Or it could be just Jesus popping off.
Man, I just think it's one of his little intellectual things where Jesus does I don't want to say it's a parable, but it's his, Jesus likes to say things in a way to make you think.
But it is parabolic.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's also paradoxical. What do you think Jesus' tone was? Was he yelling at him? Was he?
I don't think he was yelling, but I feel like he was very firm.
What do you think, Pat?
I think he was very smug.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is it holy to be smug?
Sure, if Jesus does
righteously.
it, it has to be.
I'm being righteously smug right now.
Like, think about it. This guy gives his answer, and Jesus goes, "Let the dead bury their dead."
You're a piece of trash. I say that in love.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's for your own good.
Yeah. No, I do. I don't know. I get a feeling that he, like I said, I don't think he was yelling, but I think he's probably like, okay, let the dead bury the dead. Like, kind kind of matter of factly.
Well, you know what it is. It's I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or he might have been saying like, have you ever thought of it this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead people can bury dead people. Why don't you just do what I'm asking you to do?
Yeah.
And you'll have a better life. You know, why don't you come for the good stuff?
Yeah.
It might have been more of an invitation.
It could have been. Yeah.
It doesn't sound that way the way we read it, though.
No, it doesn't.
But you look at the theme to this whole. You know, there's a reason why Luke puts all these together.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they happened all at the same time. Maybe they happened in different places, but Luke puts them all together.
Yeah.
They're clearly trying to communicate a theme, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the theme is same as we've seen elsewhere. The kingdom of God, especially right now, requires complete, total commitment.
Yep.
And I think too, he's got to say this in front of his own disciples, doesn't he?
I would think, aren't they all kind of right there?
Yeah, they're all together. For
Yeah.
sure, they're all together. And so he's thinking about his own disciples who've been with him now for 3 years, and you got these wannabes. You know, it's kind of like, oh man, this used to happen all the time. I used to hate it. It would happen when we played. You know, like it happened a lot in the hotels and resorts that we used to play, because we were in the lounge area. You know, and so these wannabes, you got to have a little bit of money to stay in a resort,
Yeah.
And it never fails. About 3 scotch and sodas in, everybody is a drummer
Oh, yeah.
or a guitar player.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, dude, can I sit in with you? It's like, you don't know the songs. Oh, yeah, I know. This one, I know that one. It's like, I don't really think you can play the.
Yeah.
Oh man, back in high school, I used to tear
25
that thing.
years ago, I could shred.
Yeah. I got to become a song catalog of what you know.
I learned these songs. I could play Stairway to Heaven, dude, and it was just.
Yep. I've been counting them.
Okay, so I was in Jamaica one time, and I was playing with. Gosh, who was I playing with? Feels like, it was Jody Messina. Yeah, it was. And we were in Jamaica at this NASCAR celebration.
Yeah.
Right near the beach.
It was a week-long deal. We only had to play one show. It was a great trip.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, it was. But we got to playing. It was an outdoor thing. There was like beach volleyball, and it's NASCAR. So every beer company in the world sponsors NASCAR. So there was pretty much every beer you can imagine there. And so these NASCAR guys started getting pretty well oiled. And Little E climbed up and played drums with us.
Really? Was he any good?
He's about as good as you would imagine a race car driver to be.
Yeah.
He wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible.
Was this before the Intimidator had passed?
No, it was after.
After?
Yeah. It was not too long after, maybe a year. Something
So
like
Jeff Gordon was there?
Yeah, he was. He actually was.
Hey, man, I was a big Jeff Gordon fan. That's
Were you
pretty
really?
cool. Yeah. I grew up on Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and them, but nice. So Dale Jr. played the drums for you.
He sure did. But that's just the whole thing. He just sort of, walked up on the stage and go, hey, can I play drums with you guys?
I feel like you could cut some slack in that scenario.
Well, you kind of have to at that point.
Yeah.
But, a part of me wanted to say, hey, dude, let the dead bury their own dead.
You should, or be like, all right, well, tomorrow I want to take your car for a spin.
That's what the drummer should have said. I'll trade you the sticks for the keys.
Yeah.
Can I sit in on your car?
Yeah.
I just want to do like the last 20 laps.
I know. But this is kind of what this story makes me think of a little bit.
Yeah.
Because here are these disciples, they're fully engaged. They've been doing crowd management. They've been doing Pharisee management. They've been, really confused by the whole thing. And the first guy comes up and says, yeah, I'm going to follow you.
Yeah.
And the disciples are going like,
Jesus kind of like, well, I'm going to give you, it's almost like he's kind of explaining what it's going to take.
yeah.
Well, he tells him, he's like, man, animals can sleep better than us sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah,
No
you're
place
never
to
going
lay
to
my
have
head.
peace kind of thing.
The Son of Man, which also means Son of God, has nowhere to lay his head.
Yeah.
I got no home. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Is that the life you want to live? But then, then he kind of goes, you too? You want to do it? Yeah. Yeah. Because obviously this guy was, hanging around showing some interest, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just speculating here. I'm being the chosen here.
Thank you for that.
But it might have even been, somebody was like bugging one of the disciples. Hey, can I come along with you guys? I want to go on the journey. I want to, stuff. And Jesus goes, hey, okay, you follow me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, all right, but I got to go bury my father.
Yeah.
And he said, dude, let the dead bury their own dead.
That's kind of how I think it is. I think he's kind of like laying out, like, I don't think you really know what this actually requires or is going to take from you to do this.
Right. And so, Pat, do you think Jesus knows about the Jewish burial customs?
No. God, everyone knows Jesus is European.
Yes, exactly. He's Swiss, Norwegian, something like that.
Jesus?
He's Fabio.
Of course he knows about it.
Yeah, he does. So he knows what this guy's talking about.
Yeah, he's like, it's basically saying, oh man, when I graduate college,
I'm
going to come back.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's in like middle school.
Yeah. It's finals week. We got field day next week.
Yeah.
And Jesus going, hey, I mean, if that's what you want to do, do it. But here's the X factor. Pat hinted at this a little while ago. So let's get into this. When the guy says, I need to go bury my father, is he talking about making sure that he still has his inheritance?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
You think so?
I mean,
that sounds very fitting to me.
Okay. So if his father is not yet dead and he is a firstborn, or even if he's the secondborn, the firstborn gets twice the portion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bigger inheritance.
But the second son still gets a portion.
That's right.
And not just money, land, family property, business, status. He gets to step into the social status, whatever his father had.
So he probably is the second brother or the younger brother.
He could be.
Well, because he's not going to get the big part, but he's like, I want to make sure I get my cut. If I'm not here, big brother gets it all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Absolutely. And and that's the whole thing is, maybe his father is years away from dying.
Yeah.
But he's going like, I'd love to follow you, but the family business.
So it's basically greed.
Well,
It could be.
Okay, so listen to this sentence and see what you think about this. In the ancient Near East, inheritance wasn't just about money. It was about identity, land, social standing, and future security. Mm-hmm. So we don't know if this guy's married. We don't know if he's got children. We don't know, all that stuff. But he's clearly not concerned about his wife and his kids if he has them.
Right.
He's mostly concerned about his father.
Yeah.
So under Jewish custom and Roman law operating in Palestine, a son's presence at his father's deathbed, burial, and mourning period was not optional. It was legally and culturally expected as part of his role as heir. Mm-hmm. And here's what happened. The inheritance process, the reading of any will, division of property, legal transfer of land happened in the context of and immediately following the burial and mourning period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you miss that,
You're out.
You're out.
yeah. A son who abandoned that process could be seen as forfeiting his claim willingly, or at minimum creating serious legal and relational complications with the other heirs. Mm-hmm. That we know about because, if you don't get invited to the party that divides up your dead relative's stuff, then you don't get any stuff.
I was going to say, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever been a part of any of those kind of things?
Thankfully, no.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. My family doesn't have any money. So we all inherited debt.
Well, yeah, I know. But sometimes, here's the deal. I have not been, present at one of these things. Mm-hmm. But I have, my brother died when he was young. My sister died just a couple of years ago, and she was fairly young. And you get to that place, and it's like, oh, there's all this stuff.
Yeah.
Neither one of them are wealthy by any stretch, but there's musical instruments, there's prized possessions, there's practical things. Who gets the blender?
Who gets the family Bible?
Well, yeah, I mean, it becomes a little bit. It can become really awkward.
Look, man, I'm just saying, I got family members and be like, hey, let me get them socks.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
They'll turn into vultures, man. I've seen it.
And it happens like immediately after, like within a week.
Days, days.
Exactly. I could see that on the, from a secession, they call it like secession planning, especially on farms.
That's right.
Because that one of the worst things in ag is you have the older generations like, well, when I die, it'll just pass down and you guys will figure it out.
Just as simple as that.
Simple as that. And that is what I would honestly say the majority think that. And what ultimately, not all the time, but what a lot of time happens, they have no plan in place. They die. The next generation can't agree.
Exactly.
And then ends up the farm that like your grandpa and their dad and your dad and all of them like worked for forever ends up getting sold off because nobody can agree.
Nobody can agree.
Yeah.
And here's the weird thing about it is it turns into like a big emotional and status issue.
Yeah.
Because here comes a cousin. They're going like, man, I spent years with your dad. And I mean, he cherished my presence every time we were together.
Yeah.
And I made him, I handcrafted some wood stuff for him. And look at where it's sitting on a shelf. So trying to pump themselves up as being really important. Or even with siblings. Now, see, I've been involved in a few of these just being a pastor.
Yeah.
Because, you got to walk the family through the whole thing. And there are times when it gets ugly.
Oh, for sure. I've
sure.
seen it.
Super ugly.
Yeah.
And it's not always ugly over, the house or the property. Sometimes it's the teapot.
Yeah, the personal effects.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. And you're right. They'll sell it before they will give it to somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if they can't make up their minds, they bring in a mediator.
Yep.
That's always fun. And now you've got siblings and distant relatives, and especially when you got multi-generations.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get, one of the children, and she's got her kids with her. Well, my kids deserve something.
Yeah.
They were precious to him, too. And it's like...
It keeps getting worse and worse.
And then they'll say, well, Joey, cousin Joey wrecked his car last week. So he
needs a ride.
He needs that car.
Yeah.
Cousin Joey needs a job.
Yeah.
That's what I know. And so it's like if I'm not there, whenever this happens, this is what's going to happen to me.
I'm going to get shafted. Yeah.
They're going to sit there and they're going to make up the whole thing. And again, let's be the chosen for a minute. Maybe he's got a pretty large family at home, and maybe they don't all get along.
Yeah.
And so he's going like, hey. Yeah, let me go bury my father first. And I'll meet up with you down the road in Jerusalem somewhere. Totally, no clue about what Jesus is, what he's doing, what he's up to. Certainly not well skilled and well versed in, shall we say, scriptures or how to cast out demons or how to heal people. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so for him to kind of just blurt that out and make that proposal, no, I really do want to follow you. But I got the situation.
Yeah, let me do this first.
Yeah, exactly. So Deuteronomy 21 protects the firstborn's double portion by law, but that protection assumes that the son is present and functioning within the family structure. It's pretty clear if you read through that little section there. Walking away from your father's deathbed and burial rites is not a neutral act. It had legal consequences. So there's a scholar named Kenneth Bailey. I know this guy's work. He's super solid. This guy spent decades living in the Middle East studying these cultural dynamics. He makes this observation. Let me bury my father in this cultural context almost certainly implies the entire process. So being present at the father's death, overseeing the burial and the rituals, observing the full mourning period, Shiva, 7 days, sometimes longer, participating in the settlement of the estate and receiving his portion of the inheritance. Bailey and others suggest this could easily be a year-long process, perhaps even longer, and that's assuming he dies within a year.
Yeah. What if he lives 5 more years?
Exactly. Depending on the complexity of the estate and the father's actual timeline of death. So when this man says, these are Kenneth Bailey's words, so when this man says, let me first bury my father, he may well be saying, let me stay home, manage my father's final season, oversee his death and burial, observe Shiva, receive my inheritance, and settle the estate. Then I'll follow you.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot going on there.
You know what this reminds me of when people say, if I hit the lottery, I would give the church blah, blah, blah. Well, why don't you give the church anything now?
Well, why don't you just buy a ticket first and let's see what happens?
Yeah. It trips me out. It's like, yeah, you're really going to give 10% of your lottery earnings, but yet when you hit a $30 scratcher, you ain't dropping them $3 bills in there, are you?
No, you're not. You need to practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah. I mean, drop that. You win a $50 ticket.
Drop $5.
Give us $5, man.
Where's the $5? So this is the big question. Is this about money? Do you think? Does Jesus perceive this to be about money, knowing what he knows about this whole process?
I would say yes.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think that there's probably some money element to it, but I think, like you said, the status element and all that, there's I would almost say a lot of pride involved, in my opinion, because that's,
Yeah.
money is one of the things, I mean, man, I'll tell you, like, as a guy that owns land, like, there's just something about walking around on land that's yours.
Completely.
And so if you went from like, this is our land, to then this is no longer my land, this is now my brother's because I wasn't there, like, that would be tough. So I think some of that element.
Well, and think about this too. In about 10 days, the mission is over.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk away from that. And
Yep.
he makes it another really good point here in some of his writings. He says, if you're going to ask the question, was this about money? Then let's consider what he had to lose by following Jesus at that moment.
Yeah.
He would lose his legal inheritance rights, potentially a double portion if he was a firstborn. He would lose his share of the family land and property. He would lose his financial security and future, which is true. He'd have to start from scratch. He would lose his social standing as a son who honored his obligations, and perhaps who had a father who had great social standing.
Yeah.
He would also lose his place within the family structure.
Well, I also think this is why he drops in there. He's like, they said, well, let me go home and say goodbye to my loved ones first. And he says this whole, no one who puts their hand on a plow and looks back, is because you're looking back of what you have to leave to follow Jesus.
Yeah, and we could probably spend a little time. I don't have any notes on it, but what about that third one where he says, "I want to go say goodbye to my loved ones"? I mean, what is he really talking about there? That's a little bit of something to ponder.
Yeah.
But we'll stick to this one for now. And here's where it gets kind of interesting, because let's put this little case up against some of Jesus' other encounters.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put this dude up against the rich young ruler.
Yep.
Okay, what did he tell the rich young ruler?
Is that the one where he told him, if you abandon your riches or give up your
No, he
riches
told
and
him
follow
to
me?
Sell everything you got and give it to charity.
Yeah. And he was like, sorry, not today, buddy.
Well, it says he went away sad because he had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't willing to let it go.
Yeah.
He didn't just have a lot of money; he had a lot of status. He was
Yeah.
a rich young ruler.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
That's like saying to a movie star, leave that all.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
now. Leave all your stuff, all your status. No more Tonight Show appearances.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like saying to, Taylor Swift.
I was going to say, who are you going to try to pull out this young?
Taylor Swift. Next year, you got a greatest hits album coming out.
Yeah.
The death blow.
Yeah, the death blow. Okay, now let's put this up against Zacchaeus. Okay, now Zacchaeus.
Was his name-o?
That's exactly right. How do you make B-I-N-G-O into Z-A?
I have no idea.
I ain't spelling that name. Okay, put him up against Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus immediately, Jesus said, salvation has come to your home.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did all of this voluntarily.
Yep.
Yeah.
He immediately assessed the situation correctly.
Yeah.
But it still cost him something.
Yep.
He paid back everybody 4 times,
That's right.
which was double what he was obligated to. Okay. So let's take a look at what we're going to be in this Sunday, which is the parable of the prodigal son.
Yep. And see, and that's the weight of that story is what I was just sitting there thinking is he asked for his inheritance early before he died.
Yes, and
squandered it.
Well, yeah, he sure did. But the significance of asking for his inheritance before his father was dead is the equivalent to saying, "I wish you were dead."
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's like heavy burdened on this father.
Yeah. So we're looking at this, kind of thing. And so Luke in his gospel talks a whole lot about money. I mean, Luke,
He does, yeah.
more than anything. If you're going to preach a good old tithing sermon,
Go to
Go to
Luke.
Luke.
most likely, if you don't use Luke as your primary text, you're going to loop in Luke at some point.
Yeah.
Because Jesus talks about money a lot. You got the parable of the rich fool who builds the barns and all this stuff.
The talents.
Yeah. So this is not out of character, I guess, is my point.
Yeah.
And it's very possible that that all three of these are connected to money and comfort and status.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because the guy says, "I want to follow you," and he says, "Well, you're going to be living out in the wide open. I don't think you want to do that."
Yeah.
Well, what is the big three? I've heard people talk about, like when there's, I can't remember. There's several kind of like biblical scholars and types, and they basically say sex, money, and power are like
that's
the
it.
three biggest temptations.
Money, power, and lust.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And occasionally Cadbury eggs. Those are very tempting.
Yes.
They're very tempting. Especially when we're trying to,
Eat a little better. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you kind of think about this inheritance thing, it really kind of draws a line through and connects all of these. Will you give up your money? What are you willing to give up to follow Jesus? Kind of thing.
That's right.
And especially in the final 10 days of all that stuff. This man, it's interesting because this scholar basically says, okay, the rich young ruler and this guy could be exactly alike, but one's problem was obvious, and the other was kind of cloaked in this socially acceptable sort of framework.
Yeah, being like, well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people would be like, well, yeah, let him go take care of his father.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's like, surely you wouldn't deny me, and Jesus going like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just know.
So could there be some hint of him saying that you're dead in the spirit?
Okay, this is what comes next. This is what we get to next, because but before we do that, we sort of have to ask the question. Okay, so what is Jesus doing in this response? Option one: Jesus was being genuinely harsh and unreasonable. He's asking for the impossible.
Typically, that's what Jesus is being. So I'd probably go with that one.
Every time.
Absolutely. Then, of course, option that's assuming that the father's already dead.
Yeah.
And Jesus is just being unreasonable.
Yeah.
No, you can't go to the funeral. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in looking through all this, there are times when people have actually asked the question, does this mean I can't go to funerals? I mean,
Can we make this work for weddings?
yeah. I would vote for that.
I will sign up for that one for sure.
No,
Yeah.
instead Jesus turns
Let
water
the
into
dead
wine.
go to the weddings.
That's exactly right.
You better have top shelf water there.
Yeah.
So, option two, what Jesus is doing is saying, I'll follow you eventually when the timing is better. And Jesus is going like what we talked about before.
Yeah.
The spraying needs to be done today.
Yeah.
We can't wait till 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Or 5 days from now.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Now we get to the good stuff. Okay. Here's option three when Jesus responds. Okay, so what does he mean by the dead?
I'm thinking dead in the spirit. I'm just saying, I think that's what it is.
So
Maybe.
here's a couple of options, and I'll kind of tell you where I sort of land on this.
All right.
I got a little bit of a surprise at the end. What I really think it is. Let the dead bury their own dead. Okay, so one idea says it's a paradox. Let the spiritually dead, those who don't know or follow Jesus, or those who don't desire to be in the kingdom or about the work of Jesus, let them handle the physically dead.
I'm kind of thinking there could be some of that in there.
But I think there's some of it in there, but I mean,
I think, honestly, if he's saying let the dead bury the dead, obviously dead people can't bury dead people.
Yeah.
You know, this is another one of those cut off your hand.
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
You know, it's not really what he's saying. You know, he's using word pictures.
Yeah,
right?
it's hard one to take literally.
Yeah, exactly. So this view also says kind of like the man who belongs to the kingdom, who truly follows Jesus, has a higher calling than even family sacred burial.
Yeah.
Like you should, you know, you have to be willing to give all that up.
That's right.
Just like the rich young ruler, right? Okay. There are plenty of people in the village who can perform the burial, but there aren't plenty of kingdom proclaimers, because that's what he asked them to do, is to go and proclaim.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that he wants him to be one of the 70, or at least tag along, for fun. And so if you look at various different scriptures, in John 5, in fact, why don't you read that, Pat? John 5, 24 and 25. Because there's some interesting in here. John 5, 24 and 25.
Truly, truly, I say to you, he who hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life and does not come into judgment, but has passed out of death and into life. Truly, truly, I say to you, an hour is coming, and now is, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live.
Okay.
There you go.
So you got Jesus talking about death, life, those who are dead, those who are alive. He's not just talking about those who are physically buried in tombs.
That's right.
He's talking about those who are, he calls them blind sometimes. He calls them, their ears have been shrouded and things like this. So those who are dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and they will live.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got some of Paul's writings. Ephesians 2:1, you once were dead in your transgressions, but now you have been made alive in Christ. John 11, he says, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever lives and believes in me will never die. And so when you get this kind of picture of Jesus talking about those who are dead, kind of like this red dot on my cup, now it's coming to life. Then I think that there's a lot of evidence to support that. Let the spiritually dead, let those who are not involved in the kingdom take care of your father.
I think there's more of that trend too in John 6, verse 63. It says, it is the spirit who gives life. The flesh profits nothing. The words that I have spoken, you are in spirit and are life. And then we see in verse 66, as a result of this,
The confession.
Many of his disciples withdrew and were not walking with him anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's what I got to, that's what it means. I'm out.
And that's kind of, there's a little bit of a summary here. You can be made alive. You can be made truly, eternally alive in the kingdom. And if you are alive in the kingdom, then act like it.
Yeah.
Those who are spiritually dead will handle the physical business.
That's right.
You got other kingdom business to proclaim. So the conclusion here on this little option is compelling and probably part of what Jesus intended. I think we all got there, right?
I would agree, yes.
The paradox is deliberate, and it's probably supposed to be a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
I don't think this guy expects Jesus to say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think he does that. Like I said, if he kind of catches you off guard, it makes you have to think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Luke doesn't tell us if the guy went or if he would stay.
If Jesus was just like, man, I don't know that you should. It just wouldn't have the same impact.
No.
The dude probably wouldn't dwell on it.
Yeah.
But like you have a guy say, let the dead bury the dead. I mean, that's the kind of phrase you'd be like,
I know.
what does he mean by that?
And we see the same. We see the same thing with the rich young ruler. Like when he walked away sad, it doesn't say that he doesn't go and do it. We just know that he went away sad. And so we're kind of like, okay, well, did he go away sad because he wouldn't inherit? Did he walk away sad because he had to, get rid of everything? We don't know. But the fact is that he walked away from Jesus sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it also says, I can't remember which gospel version, but in one of the versions it says Jesus looked upon him and loved him. That Jesus wasn't being harsh.
Yeah.
He's just saying, hey, this is the way it is. You can't come in like you are.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing I think with this guy. You can't do this
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of another option that we're given is, just that option of kingdom urgency. It's the same, we're on a timeline here.
Yeah.
And so if you can't come now, so why don't you just leave all that behind and take the big leap and come on, let's get it done, because it has to be done now. The kingdom is breaking into the world right now. The window is small. And so you look at a few pieces of evidence, earlier in Luke 9, as the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus set out for Jerusalem resolutely. And then you look at all of the stuff in this last portion here of Luke 9. It's just one rapid fire discipleship demand after another. Yeah. And so he's calling everybody to the same standard. Yeah. He's just calling them in different ways. He's sending out the 70 or the 72, depending on which version you're reading. And so there's a now. There's a now. Also, this is kind of an obscure, foggy little reference, but I think it's important. Elisha, you remember when Elijah called Elisha? Mm-hmm. Elisha says, I'm going to come right back here, but let me go back to my family first and tell them I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. And Elisha says, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Jesus is demanding more than Elijah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think there's a little parallel there, and I think Luke is probably doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
So then the conclusion to that little view is it's pretty powerful. It's pretty consistent with the way Luke is writing right now. Situates the saying in its narrative urgency without making it a universal rule for all situations. Right. Yeah. I think that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But here's okay. I'm going to get back to my little pet thought about the dead.
Yeah.
Remember we said earlier that if in the absence of the son, the priest had to touch the body and bury the body. How did Jesus feel about the religious leaders in that time?
He thought they were dead.
I think he did.
Sure did.
I mean, you know.
It's like, let them filthy turds do it.
That's almost, I almost want to say, hey.
Let those Philistines take care of that.
Let your troglodytes take care of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm again speculating just a little bit, but the way that Jesus has interacted with Pharisees and ripping them a new one sometimes. It's like, you guys don't get it. You're the ones who should get it, and you're the ones who don't get it.
Yeah.
So let the dead take care of that for you. Yeah. Let the priest bury it. He'll take care of it. He's got more important things to do.
Yeah, and I don't hate that theory.
I don't either.
I think it's just another possible layer to the whole, spiritually dead idea. Because the priest would be spiritually dead. So here's option 5: combination, multiple layers all at once, and I think this is
that's it.
Exactly right.
That's what I think with it.
Most likely, all of these are happening. Most likely, the Father is probably not dead yet. The dead equals the spiritually dead, including the priest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Paradox is intentional. The moment is a kairos moment. For such a time as this, kingdom urgency is real. And Jesus is confronting the very human tendency to let the good things become obstacles to the best thing.
And see, that's what I was sitting here thinking is like, this is Jesus giving a divine message to human beings. And he's meeting them in their humanness. And he's telling them, he's like, let the dead have it. Like, I know that's good stuff, but it's not going to give you eternal life.
Well, and also you're not really going to be following me.
Right.
I mean, to follow me later is to not follow me at all.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't put Jesus on pause.
Yeah, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, in less than 2 weeks, Jesus will not only be crucified and rise again, but he will have been ascended into heaven.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
This is how I know Jesus is so freaking divine, is because I would have been like, oh, okay, I'll wait right here. I'll wait right here.
I know.
Yeah, a year goes by. It's like, God, that guy's taking us time.
Well, but here's the thing: is you can't say that Jesus doesn't know his situation.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I know your dad. He's fine.
We broke bread together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he says the same thing with the Pharisees and the lawyers and the teachers and all these things that try to catch him, and stuff. Like Jesus already knows the answer of their heart. He says, knowing what was in their heart, he answered them.
Absolutely. And, when you get to the Good Samaritan, it's like, where did that come from? A lawyer. Oh, a lawyer stood up and wanted to, ask him a hard question.
Yeah.
And Jesus answers the question, who is my neighbor, with this big, elaborate story that everybody standing there would know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It'd be like, well, there was an usher and a deacon and a nursery worker.
Yeah.
And, it's just, he uses all the language they know.
Right.
And then he comes back around at the end. He says, which one of these was the neighbor? And he said, the one who showed mercy. And he said, go and do likewise.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Go be, that's the funny thing. Go be a Samaritan.
Yeah. Go be that.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think we see the same dynamics at work here.
I think so.
In all three of these, honestly. Jesus answers a little bit cryptically in all three, because he uses the, foxes have holes, birds have nests. I don't have one. And then in the last one, it's like, well, when you go home and do your work, do you plow backwards?
Right.
I don't think so. So I'm not plowing backwards either. You either come now or you don't come at all.
It is at hand.
Exactly.
It is at hand.
Yeah. It's like you've watched a lot of Western movies, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. They're getting ready for the cattle drive. Okay. So what happens if the young buck comes riding up on a horse? I want to be a part of the cattle drive. Okay. Well, but first I got to go take care of this thing.
Yeah. No, you're out here now. You're in the cattle drive.
We're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're leaving in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave without you unless you're
So,
here.
you know what? Here's another layer to it. It's Lil E coming up and going, hey, can I play drums with you guys? Let me go in the hotel room and practice real quick. Don't play the song yet. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
No, that is not going to happen for sure. And by the way, if you weren't a famous rich race car driver, you would not be playing those drums. I promise you.
Yeah.
And so when we kind of, get into the conclusions of this whole thing, this is where it's kind of been, I don't know, misunderstood, shall we say, taken out of context.
For sure.
So it's like, oh, so Jesus is against family then, right? We see many times in the Gospels, several in particular, that Jesus thinks family is good.
Yeah.
His best friend Lazarus was part of a family, Family is God-given, but family is not ultimate. I think that's the point that he wants to make. And in their culture, that would have been very, very important because family was everything to them.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's
It was
funny.
their whole world.
I've used this etymology of this phrase so much before. It's that old expression, blood's thicker than water. You stand next to family, blah blah. Where that expression came from is the blood on the cross is thicker than the water of the womb.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that people use that in the exact opposite way. But I mean, that's what Jesus is getting at here. Yes, the water of the womb is great, but the blood on the cross is ultimate.
Yeah.
Well, and he knows that nobody gets the magnitude of what's about to happen.
Right.
But they got to feel the sense of urgency to some degree. Matthew 10:37 is where he says, anyone who loves their father and mother more than me is not worthy of me. Luke 14, he says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, he cannot be my disciple. Mark 3, we talked about this earlier. When told his mother and brothers were outside, Jesus said, who are my mother and brothers? Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother. And so, does Jesus hate family?
No.
Yes. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I thought that was the right answer.
He did a miracle for his mama at a wedding when it wasn't his hour.
Yeah, I love it because she's basically like, Jesus, just do it.
Yeah.
We need some wine.
It was and she is worried about their status.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She's worried about them being shamed forever.
Yep.
And it's funny because he says woman, which is not a derogatory term, but he doesn't call her mama.
Yeah.
He's calling her
Like, do you know what you want me to do?
Lady. And I think they're having a humorous exchange there.
I do too.
And here's the funny thing, because remember we talked a lot about the hour, right? In this last series.
Yeah.
What's the hour? It's the hour of his death, right?
Yeah.
And so when he says, my hour my hour has not yet come, I think it's so funny because he could have said, like he said to his brother, my time has not fully come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he says, my hour.
Yeah.
My death. So I think what he's saying to his mother is, are you trying to get me killed?
Yeah, he's like, chill out. He's like,
Are you trying to get me killed at a wedding?
Hey,
mother?
lady, chill.
I call Marcy woman. I've done that, for a long time. Actually, when we got married, one of the little kids walked down the aisle and it had a sign that said, "Here comes your woman," because I refer to Marcy as my woman.
I called Karen a woman twice. I got a scar right here. I got a scar in the back of my head, and I just did it twice. I tried it again after the first time just to see.
Well, that's better than calling her man, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
No, man, bro. I think it's you feel good. It's like, okay, woman. And I again, it's nothing derogatory. Like I said, woman's that's just what I call her. She's my woman.
Well, what does she call you? And does it start with an A?
Yeah, it usually starts with an A.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the family issue. Jesus is not doing anything derogatory to family, but he is talking about there is no deferred discipleship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no when the time is right. And,
Sure ain't.
man, we see in our society, it is all over the place. People are not getting married because I got to wait till the time is right when I have the money right.
I got to get my career right. Got to get this right. Get that right first.
When you were first talking about that, that's exactly where my brain went. Because I know people that they'd hold off. It's like, well, I don't want to have kids yet because my job isn't where it's at. And that actually always has I'll be honest with you, that always used to irk me, because one of my biggest motivators to try to be successful is actually my kids.
For sure.
And just, do you have to be more strategic when you have kids?
Look, I'm telling you this
do.
right here is I don't want to have kids now. Now that I've got later in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I actually think there's a lot of value in your kids seeing you struggle and seeing you not only struggle, but then seeing you accomplish something. Man, what a cool thing. And then you got a little mini fan club, man.
I was going to say, you can actually be a part of your kid's life.
Yes. Yep.
I know. My youngest daughter called me today, wanting some practical advice. Because, her apartment lease is up.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's like, I'm getting married soon. But, do you think we could, buy a house or something like that? And I said, okay, well, when's your lease up? Oh, I got to let them know by Saturday.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Yeah. I said, well,
maybe not that quick.
Might not. I don't know that you could do a turnaround.
That would be really fast.
Yeah, it would. But I said, she said, well, we saw this place and it was right in a cool little neighborhood and it wasn't too bad. And I said,
it's in South Parkway.
Yeah.
Orange Mound.
But I said, here's what you need to do though. Go ahead and make an appointment with the realtor. Walk yourself through the whole process. Yeah. Get as familiar as you can with it. And she thought that was a good idea. And I thought, okay, score one.
She's like, wow, Dad, you really do know some things.
I know. And so then we get to, the idea that Jesus is saying, hey, let people who are not on this mission take care of your other business.
Right. Yeah.
You focus on what only you can do and let them do what anybody can do.
Right.
But then he's like, yeah, but I'll lose this and I'll lose, well, is the kingdom worth it? Is it worth it?
It's like saying I'll quit drinking after Oktoberfest.
Yeah. And then after Labor Day.
Yeah.
And then after Thanksgiving.
Well, the following Labor Day.
Yeah. One of those Labor Days.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Another thing that I think is wrapped up in here is I think Lucas is reinforcing the fact that following Jesus is going to be costly.
Yeah, it will cost you something.
Yeah. Now Luke is a very interesting character because Luke wasn't one of the 12.
Right.
He was very familiar with the 12 and did all of his research, but Luke was more of a traveling companion with Paul. Mm-hmm. But I think what he's trying to do here is, in one way, to say to anybody who reads the gospel and wants to follow Jesus that it will be costly.
Yeah.
But also, I think he wants to honor the price that the disciples paid
Absolutely.
to do what they did.
Absolutely.
And so he's almost like honoring him in real time because, Peter and John are still alive when he's writing this, all the disciples. And he's wanting to go, yeah, one time this guy came and he wants to follow Jesus. And Jesus is like, can you do what these guys did? and he's like, no, I got to go bury my father. Oh, you got to live in the lap of luxury for another 5 years until your dad kicks off.
Yeah.
And then you'll still have your stability. And then you'll come and do kingdom work. Really?
Yeah.
Kingdom
Well,
work?
it's just as you were saying when we first started was, like which one of us is going to be the greatest? Which one's
I know.
You don't know
That
what
comes
you're
right
asking.
before that.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're asking.
Yeah, and that whole thing about James and John wanting to, can we have a place of honor when you come into your kingdom? I don't think you understand what coming into my kingdom really means.
Yeah.
You want to hang on a cross on my right and my left?
Yeah.
Go for it, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even know what you're asking. So if we're gonna, kind of wrap all this stuff up, you gotta ask the question. Okay, so here's this question: does it mean I'm sinning if I go to my parents' funeral?
Yes.
Come on, people. That's silly.
Absolutely.
That's what Jesus meant.
Yeah, is this a contradiction because elsewhere Jesus supports family? No, it's not a contradiction. It's a tension.
Yeah.
It's a tension that's supposed to be there.
Right.
How do I know when my family obligations are kingdom honoring versus kingdom deferring? That's a pretty good one.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
If I idolize my children, that's kingdom deferring.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think it's a lot, you could almost look at that. I feel like this, what Jesus is saying here, because how many people are like, my family and then my faith, and that's actually the wrong order.
It's the wrong order.
Yeah. And
Jesus would say that's the wrong order.
Yeah. And look, I'm a dad. I get it.
If using my family for forced labor at the church, that's kingdom building right there. And I've done that. I'm still doing it.
Yes. Yeah. But that is the thing. Like you gotta, it's your faith has to come first, even against your family.
Well, what happens if your family comes first, your faith comes second, and your kids don't grow up with a solid foundation of faith?
Yeah.
You failed.
Yep.
You're a failure.
Yep.
You put your hand on the plow and you look backward.
Yep.
You're plowing in the wrong direction.
And you be making them
Remember
crooked
Lot's
roads.
wife. Remember Lot's wife.
Yes, remember Lot's wife. Okay, so this question says, was Jesus being cruel to this specific man? No. Maybe painful. Maybe a little bit like, I know what you're talking about, and I'm calling you on your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think he called out this random guy because he already knew what was going down. Like
Maybe.
these were a bunch of wannabes run up. And then
Yeah.
he's like, all right, look, this is what you're asking. You want this? I already know this about you.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I think that's what Jesus is doing here. He's like, let me shut this down. You don't know what you're asking.
Okay, so let's wrap our minds around this one. It feels like, okay, this guy's sort of criticizing this guy for being too tied to his family obligations. You're thinking, Jesus, that's a little bit hypocritical because, but Jesus left his own father,
That's right.
Yeah.
like his heavenly father. Like you think about the family Jesus left when he, made himself nothing.
Yep.
He's calling humans nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. Jesus knows exactly what he's talking about.
Well, and also too, let's look at Jesus, for example, right? Like, is he ever going to tell anybody, by the way, don't follow me?
No.
Don't follow me.
He wants
you know?
everybody to follow him. Yeah. But he is kind of telling them, don't follow me unless.
You going to follow me?
You're going to be real about it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like you rather join in or join out, is what he's telling them.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's another thing that Jesus says, which I think is very profound and kind of gives us a little bit different spin on this. In Mark 10, he says, truly, I tell you, no one who has left home or brothers or sisters or mother or father or children or fields for me and the gospel will fail to receive 100 times as much in this present age, homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and fields, along with persecutions, and in the age to come, eternal life.
Yep.
Well, and
Tax that on the end.
let's look how he starts it too. Is anyone who's left these things for me?
Yeah.
Jesus isn't saying,
for
"Oh
the
yeah,
gospel.
bounce out on your family, bounce
No,
out on."
no,
he's
no,
not
no.
saying that. He's saying whatever you give up for me.
He doesn't say who deserted,
Right.
abandoned.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about put them in the second place.
That's right.
And I think a little bit of what Jesus is talking about here is what we just talked about. If you put your family in the right perspective and the right priority, then you will receive 100 times as much, because you will grow a godly family.
Agreed.
And you will leave a legacy, and you will receive 100 times as much.
Yeah, you did you did that sermon. Heck, it's been probably a couple of years ago, leaving a legacy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's one of my favorites because that's one of the things. Like, I think especially having a farming, coming from a farming thing, it's always kind of about like passing the farm on to the next generation. And at the end of the day, that's fleeting. Land's going away and this and that, and it's like, but the one true legacy that actually really is lasting and matters is your faith.
Yes.
I mean, that is the most important legacy that you can pass on to your family, to your kids.
And how much more abundant will your family grow?
Yeah.
And that message was called Legacy or Longing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how many people do you know right now that you could name that their family history left a longing in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're either always still trying to get their approval from their parents or their relatives, or they just are empty. Yeah. Like family doesn't, they have a family, but it doesn't mean anything to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're just empty.
And they even may, I know a guy that's extremely wealthy, been very successful in business, made a ton of money, ton of money. And, his children they'll inherit a large sum of money, and they have a terrible relationship. They don't he's only driven by business. That's his focus is business. It's always a constant hunger to continue to grow the business. And his kids are going to they're like generational wealth, but they have no relationship with their father.
Yeah. No. And the sorry thing is they're going to turn around and do the same thing most likely. Yeah. Most likely, it will be, a pattern that is perpetuated through the generations. And even if it's only perpetuated by one of the children, somebody's going to pass it on. Yeah. Because somebody will catch the bug and get the itch. Yeah. And it's going to be all about the business for them. Yep. Yeah. It's just, you kind of get a feel for what Jesus is doing here. Yeah. And I think this is, it does sound harsh. But when you really dig underneath the surface, it's not really harsh at all. Right? Yeah. He's just speaking truth. Yeah. He's just saying, hey, no, we got to go now. You got to be willing to leave Okay. So here is, if I was preaching this as a sermon, which I actually have before, but today, if I was going to preach it as a sermon, I would put this line in it, probably toward the end. Jesus doesn't ask us to give up good things for nothing. He asks us to give up good things for everything.
That's right. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. That's the gospel, right?
I got to go use the bathroom.
Okay. Pat's out.
Pat's out. But yes, no, that is, I like that, man. And that's where I think, like you said, he's just trying to point out, in my opinion, the gravity, the seriousness of this. And it's not a thing where you can be one foot in, one foot out.
They're on the move.
Yeah.
It's the cattle drive.
Yep.
It's happening whether you come with me or not.
Yep.
And I imagine, what do you think the disciples' reaction was when Jesus said that?
I don't know. I almost imagine they might have snickered a little bit.
I kind of think they might have too.
Yeah, because it's like they would understand, like they would get it, and because they've sacrificed. You have already sacrificed to be there
for 3 years. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So I mean, there is the possibility. Like I was kind of thinking about this when you're saying it. And I may be wrong here, but I feel like there's the possibility that some of them have probably lost parents and probably lost out on inheritances.
I would imagine they did. Yeah. Yeah. And you think about too, the family fishing business, Yep. The tax collector, all the money you can make as a tax collector. He left all that. And he didn't really have a soft place to land because everybody already hated him.
I was going to say, everybody hates the tax collector.
Exactly. And let's see, what would some of the others have given up? I think, I don't know what the occupations were of all the disciples. I know Peter, James, and John were fishermen. Matthew was a tax collector.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of them didn't have land and farm, and
That's kind of what I think.
you know,
too.
like what about their flocks?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And we don't hear about, we don't know if they were married by this time or not. Some suggest that they were, you know, maybe 17, 18, 19 years old. But shoot, back then you'd get married at 14.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know, I don't know what they left behind as far as that goes. But they significant. Certainly left behind all of their status. I mean,
Yep.
you know, Jesus comes back to the region and they're not well received.
Yeah.
You know, they're just considered, you know, sort of weird rogue human beings, you know, kind of like John the Baptist, you know.
Yeah.
Family had high hopes
Eating
for him.
crickets, man.
Yeah, eating crickets and wild honey.
Yeah.
That's wearing
Camel hair.
camel hair. Yeah, exactly.
Getting decapitated.
Well, there is that. Yeah, he just lost his head over the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, that's the latest hard saying of Jesus.
Yep. Let the dead bury their own dead.
Exactly. Apparently, Pat started plowing and looked back.
That coffee was talking to it.
I guess it was. It was speaking his language. But anyway, we're about to the end of this one. Bet wrung it out as far as we can wring it out.
Yep.
So let us know what you think about this one. This is a little bit of an interesting take on, kind of an obscure little passage here. But I think it's really important for us. And I think it raises all kinds of profound, good things.
Yep.
And a lot of things for us to ponder as well.
I agree. I agree. We want you guys to do a few things for us.
Yes, we do.
We want you to hit that like button, hit subscribe, comment below, and let us know what you thought of this episode. And if there is a passage that you've read and you thought, man, that just seems kind of harsh, what
That's
Jesus
good.
said there, comment that. Let us know what it is, and Peter will dissect it.
I will.
And also leave us those ratings. And guys, do share this. We just ask, share this with, I'm not going to say just one of your friends, share this with all your friends.
Absolutely.
Get the word out there for us.
It's super easy to do, and especially if you're an audio person and you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or one of those platforms. It really, the share button is right there.
Yep.
And it comes up like with, how do you want to share this? Text message. Yeah. Just text a bunch of your friends, share
Do
it
it.
with them, and say, hey, get on board with this thing. And then, of course, YouTube, same deal. Share
Yep.
button right down below. Do
Easy.
it. Subscribe. We got a new subscriber last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't remember his name right now, but a very, very pleasant man.
All right. Hey, that's
Put
awesome.
his profile picture up there and everything.
Yeah.
Don't even know where he's from, but it's just another random guy.
That's
And,
awesome.
He's gotten on the train with us. So there you go.
That's what we like.
He's not looking back.
He is not looking back.
So do all that stuff and jump on board and support us. And let's get this stuff out there.
Yep. All right, guys. We will catch you next week.